I want to welcome everyone to tonight's live stream, our spring live stream. Tonight we're going to be talking about student leadership and service here on campus. Know that all of the previous live streams and the live streams from tonight are going to be available on YouTube as well as on our admitted students page and Facebook, so you can find everything there. Feel free to ask any questions in the live chats that we have going on Facebook or on YouTube. We'll be monitoring those, and we'll be trying to allow you the chance to ask any questions that you have for our panelists this evening. I will see you folks at the end, but for right now, I'm going to pass it over to our student host, Nancy Champlain.
Okay, hello everyone. First and foremost, congratulations on being accepted to Champlain College. I'm Nancy Champlain. I'm a senior computer and digital forensics major here at Champlain with a business administration minor, and I'm also a senior admissions intern here. So it's my pleasure to be serving as your host for the evening. I'm here representing Champlain College Admissions Office for the 4th live stream of 2019, and our focus tonight is going to be student leadership and service. So all of our panelists come from a variety of different majors within various divisions here at Champlain. They've held various student leadership positions on campus, including resident assistants, club leaders, and eco-reps. They've also participated in service trips and volunteer off campus. So they're going to be telling you a little bit about some of the student leadership and service opportunities, both at Champlain and within our community. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our panelists. So panelists, I'm going to say your name. And when I do, if you could just repeat your name, say your current year and graduating year, your major, and your student leadership positions or service experience. So Anna, let's start with you.
Hi, my name is Anna Matich. I am a junior computer science and computer digital forensics double major. My leadership positions include being a career peer coach and being the co-president of the Women in Technology Club here on campus. I also am one of the co-founders of a nonprofit Tech Trend, which I started thanks to Champlain.
So Lauren, why don't you go next?
Hello, my name's Lauren Guiney. I'm a resident assistant here on Champlain, eco-rep and eco-rep area coordinator. My major is management and innovation with a minor in psychology, and I also volunteer off campus, sometimes through my job as well as at the Humane Society of Chittenden County, which is an animal shelter nearby.
Great, thanks Lauren. And Hannah, why don't you go?
Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm a senior psychology major with a minor in social justice. I have been an orientation leader here for the past 3 years, and I've also gone on a service trip to the Malaika House, which is an orphanage in Uganda, and I will be going again this May.
All right, awesome. So we're going to start with the live stream. If you're watching this live, send in your questions through the live chat next to this video, and we'll do our very best to answer all of your questions during this panel. So we're going to start with our first question. So Anna, we're going to start with you. Why did you want to be a student leader, and how did you come across some of the opportunities?
I didn't really set out to become a student leader. It was something that I kind of fell into just because of the way my interests worked. I became one of the co-presidents for the Women in Technology Club because it was something that I was really passionate about doing, and I felt that I could do a good job helping the club further if I was the co-president as opposed to just a normal member. And then my career peer coach position, I was really interested in working directly with students from various majors and helping them to, up their career game. And I applied for that position and got it.
All right, wonderful. So Lauren, we'll go to you. Why did you want to be a student leader, and how did you come across some of the opportunities?
So similar to Anna, I didn't really look for,
Lauren, we can't see you.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Is that working? Can you hear me? No?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Well, my camera is on. Is it okay if I answer the question and then
just continue talking? We're good.
Okay, yeah. So I was also not looking for any leadership positions. It's things I fell into just based on my interest, which really focused, like with eco-reps, it was I care a lot about the environment. I care about the effect it has. Oh, there I am. That's great. I don't know if anyone else can see me, but that's okay. I popped up. So, so it was very much like based on interests I had. I really love people. I love getting to know people, connecting with them. So through the things I found, which often were jobs. So there's a couple positions like eco-reps where you can get it through work study and get involved with that. But there's also like resident assistant. That's something with work study, but it also could be just paid time. That just helps you connect as well as like kind of sustain yourself. And I've discovered that those are all things that really let me develop the skills I want to develop and do the work I want to be doing, if that makes sense.
Great, thanks, Lauren. And Hannah, why did you want to be a student leader and how did you come across some of the opportunities?
So for me, I really had a great experience with my orientation leaders coming into Champlain, and I really wanted to be that person for someone else, so which kind of led me to be in that position, and I really enjoyed it. It let me come out of my comfort zone. It definitely made me grow as a person, which has been really beneficial for me throughout these past 4 years, which has been awesome. And then for service trips, I've always wanted to go on a service trip and looked for different opportunities. I've done a lot of volunteering around the Burlington area. And then when I heard about the service trip to Uganda, I knew that that was something I really wanted to do because it combined traveling and service, which are both things that I absolutely love. So it was a great opportunity for me to venture out and go do things.
Okay, wonderful. So why don't we talk about the service trips right now? So Anna, why don't you talk about your experience on service trips or your volunteer experience and what happened? Did you like it? Just kind of go through the process of how you got there and what happened when you were there.
So I ended up going to Africa as part of a core travel course, which is really amazing how core gives you those opportunities to do that kind of stuff. So I was fortunate to travel there with a group of students. And when we were there, we went to 2 primary schools, which for Africa is like kindergarten up to middle school age students. And meeting the students was such an amazing experience because we got to talk directly to them. So we asked them questions and they asked us questions. Some of the questions we asked them were about what kind of subjects in school they found interesting and what kind of jobs they wanted to have when they grew up. And a lot of the students had some really inspiring answers, especially some of the young female students there. They talked about their interest in their version of IT, learning further about that. And they talked about wanting to be astronauts and mathematicians and engineers. And it was so cool to hear them talk about that. But then when it came time for them to ask us questions, one of the things they asked us was about what we could do to help them. And from that, we found out that they didn't have any actual technology to learn on. The only way they were learning was through these textbooks. So we figured that here at Champlain, since we're such a tech-focused school, and since my major specifically falls into the ITS division, we figured we were kind of uniquely positioned to help these students. And so when I came back from that core travel course, I got together with 3 other
Hi, folks. Sorry about that. It looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we will let the students finish answering their questions in a second. If anyone has any and can see us, feel free to start chatting at the YouTube for the Facebook page that we have open.
Okay, so Hannah, it looks like you're still on this one. So how about you take it while we work out the technical difficulties, and why don't you talk about the Uganda trip that you were a leader for, and just kind of tell us how you got to that point, the process, and what you did once you were there.
Yeah, so I found out about the trip through the Center for Sustainability, and they really kind of promote this. Our school actually has a partnership now with the Malaika House, which is an orphanage there. So we've been going, I think this is our 8th year going, I want to say. So we have created such a great relationship with the founder, Robert, who actually used to be a tennis coach at St. Mike's. So he's kind of a local guy here. So we've created a great relationship with him to be able to go there for 2 to 3 weeks every May and go hang out with the kids, just really create a connection and a bond with them. They really enjoy our group going. They really look forward to it. We go during their one of their breaks from school, and it's been really beneficial for both groups. It's just about learning about their culture and different things like that has been really, really exciting and really awesome. And along with being the student leader on the trip this year, it's been really exciting to be able to create a group for everyone going and the excitement within Champlain. So all of the 9 students going and the 2 teachers that are also going with us, and all of the fundraising that we do for them has been really exciting and really beneficial. So, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for that, Hannah. So it looks like we're still having some technical difficulties with our other 2 panelists. So Hannah, I'm probably going to throw it to you again with another question. What would you say is one of the most important lessons or skills you have learned because of your experience?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I've become more aware of different cultures because of this. And I think that typically when you think of service trips and doing things like going to an orphanage, you think that it's volunteerism, you're going there just with this idea of you're going to save everyone. And that's really not what this experience is. It's really about working and having a partnership with everyone, and really getting to know these children and getting to know how this organization works and how we can help them, and while they're still helping us as well.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Hannah. Okay, so we're working on our technical difficulties. Right now, I'm going to switch it to Lauren. And Lauren, I want you to tell me about your off-campus volunteer opportunities, how you got there, did you find them on your own, and kind of what you do on part of.
So anyone who's an animal lover watching this knows that there's always ways to find like that dog on the street or cat you could pet in the window or something. Don't go reaching into people's windows. But I was very similar where it was like I missed my pets at home. In the future, I hope to work with animals. So I was looking for ways that I could build that experience while also helping these creatures that I have a lot of empathy for and that I care a lot about, while also connecting to my community. So the first thing that popped up when I was like Googling that, like local animal shelters, was the Humane Society of Chittenden County, which is an incredible organization. And when I was doing my research for them, I was just shocked at how much they do, not just for the animals that they themselves like rescue, but the outreach they do to rescue other animals where maybe they would go to a kill shelter instead, which they try not to do. They will only euthanize if absolutely necessary. As well as they have other programs where it might be that if you're in a transition of life, where maybe you're leaving a abusive relationship or you're moving based on medical needs, they can actually hold your animal for you and try and keep that family together and keep that animal in a home that's really good for it. It's just a transitional space. And I think that's something that drew me to them a lot more than maybe just a normal, you go in, you clean up, was how involved they were with the people they were working with the animals they were rescuing, and with the families they were connecting to these animals. So that was something that was very important to me. And since I've started volunteering there, I've learned that the people are just as incredible as the organization itself, which makes sense. To have something so great, you need really powerful and passionate people behind it. So I think that's like everything that got me into it and why I've stayed so consistently.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Lauren. So it looks like we have our first question from people watching. It says, on the service trips, how long do you stay there? So Hannah or Anna, why don't you guys take that one?
Yeah, so the trip to Uganda typically goes about 2.5 to 3 weeks. So I think this year we're going for 17 days. We leave right after graduation. So I graduate on May 11th. We're leaving May 16th, I think. So it's a quick turnaround, and then we're there until June 4th, I want to say. So, yeah. It's a great way to connect to everyone too. And you get to know so many people on the trip that you wouldn't necessarily meet. I'm going with people of all different majors, all different divisions, people that of different ages, people that I would never meet typically on campus. So it's a great way to make even more connections and more friendships too. So it's been really beneficial. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Lauren. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the RA position, how you got it, what it entails, stuff like that.
Perfect. So the RA position here on campus actually recently went through a big shift. Originally, when I was hired, you would get hired and you're placed in a resident hall, which could be from first years to upperclassmen. I'm in one of the upperclassmen halls, Boardman Hall, which is a wonderful place. I have really good residents, super nice, really good with policy, which is great, very appreciated. So applying to that, you'll see posters all over campus starting around spring, although there actually will be hiring in the fall to replace some of the people who go to study abroad in the spring or who maybe are resigning from the position. It's unlikely that as a first year, you're gonna come in and immediately get that position, but it's certainly something you can apply to for the future. There's a lot of, it's a pretty long process, but it's a fun one where you go in for your original interview one-on-one, and then you'll also be doing group interviews where they want to see how you interact with others. So one of our activities was, building Legos together, and then you had to, your group had to leave the room and you had to recreate the same Lego structure just based on description, which I think shows how much the position ends up relying on that team building structure and group process, where you really do end up relying on your co-RA, you rely on the various, you're gonna rely on your AC, and you have to be very committed to this job. It's something that your resident could come up to at any time and need you to help with something. But the relationships you develop with them are, I think, some of the strongest ones you'll get on campus. And it certainly connects you to every other leadership position on campus because you'll be working with those people, connecting resources, connecting people. And it's also one that I think really provides a lot of professional development through obviously leadership skills, but also through problem solving and flexibility in difficult situations. So yeah.
So thank you, Lauren. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Anna, who's back with us. Yay. Anna, why don't you tell me about the peer coach position and also kind of go over insight, why you decided to become a peer coach, all that wonderful stuff.
Okay, so I decided to become a peer coach after my first year, where the position was originally called, they were PAs originally, but I really loved my PA, and it was really nice having that point of contact. So, so when the applications opened up, I knew I wanted to apply to the position, and through the application process in like my first semester there, I found that I really liked working there. So I came back the next year and again after that. And it's a nice position because I'm working directly with students and I can see the difference I'm making. Like as they work on their career documents and they become more confident, maybe with interviews or working with employers. And of course, as a career peer coach, I help with the Insight track. And I do the career side of the Insight track. There are also financial peer coaches that help with the other side of the track. But so that essentially means I'm helping students complete their career milestones, further their career education, and sometimes I'm putting on career smart talks, which basically are large group presentations where students can learn about whatever topic it is that we're presenting on.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much, Anna. So Hannah, I'm going to turn it to you now, just for another question. I was just wondering if you could tell me what's an important, oh wait, you asked, that's right. If you could tell me how your volunteer experiences has contributed to your education and kind of how it made you who you are today, and just why you think it's important that students should contribute in terms of service.
So for me, volunteering has kind of led me to know what I want to do in the future a little bit more. Between going on this service trip, my internships here in Burlington, and different volunteer positions that I've had around the Burlington area, I've realized the population that I want to work with, which has definitely helped me a lot. I've also been able to create connections with people that I wouldn't normally create connections with, just on campus and in a different setting. And it's also really helped me to understand different cultures and different backgrounds and how important it is to be aware of all of that, especially when you're interacting with people, and how important it is to be mindful of who you are interacting with and how that can have an impact on a person, and how you present yourself as well impacts them too.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Anna, I'm going to turn the same question to you. So if you could just tell me kind of how you've benefited or changed from your service experience in student leadership positions, and how it's kind of contributed to your education or future.
Well, it's definitely made me a lot more confident. Any type of leadership position you get yourself in, you end up definitely gaining confidence, I would say. It's also nice because I really enjoy working with other people, and it showed me that I'm good at it, and it definitely could be a career track I consider in the future. For example, I was able to attend the Grace Hopper celebration, which is like this giant conference for computer science and STEM. And I talked to a lot of employers there, and a lot of them were like, hey, I know you're talking to me about maybe getting a software engineering position at our company, but maybe you should look into some of our leadership positions within the IT department and find you might be a better fit there, because they were looking at my resume and seeing the different leadership positions I had listed on that. On the service side of things, that has been, I know it's like very cliche to say, but working with those children and working as a part of TechTrin has like truly changed my life. It's just so amazing to see the impact technology can have on people, and like being a part of that has been really amazing. I feel like I'm overusing that word, but it was a really great experience, and it's made me rethink some things about what I'm going to do post-grad.
Okay, thanks a lot, Anna. And now Lauren. So how has your leadership and service experiences kind of shaped you or contributed to your education and future?
So I think that no matter where you go in the workforce, you're going to be working with people. That's just unavoidable for some of you if you're nervous about it, and great for others. I would definitely encourage trying to make it a positive thing. And I think leadership on campus is one of the best ways to do that, because as I mentioned previously, like the connections you build with people, from your peers to your residents to people who come to you seeking help with like your career or financials, even fellow club members. You're going to learn about a lot of different people and learn different interactions with them, and every single interaction is going to carry something you can learn from. So I think every single conversation that's encouraged through these positions is going to help you in your future, anywhere you go, no matter the major, as well as volunteering. For me personally, every time I leave my place to volunteer, which I go to twice a week, I went this morning, you wake up early, you're like, oh gosh, I'm so tired. It's a college student life. But I always leave more energized, and I leave motivated to do right by others. And I leave motivated feeling like I've accomplished something and there's more I feel like I can do. It gives you a real sense of power within yourself. So it is empowerment in that way. And you also can feel better knowing that you can make a difference in one person or one cat's life. I think both are very important, obviously. And I think that can really change your perspective on life in general, and can be really a great opportunity for growth for any individual if they feel like they find something that they're really passionate about. And that's also, I guess, an extremely important point, is like this, you don't have to just like go do this to do and be, I mean, it's great if you want to go and like help clean up cigarette butts on the street or something because you really care about it going into like our beautiful lake. But I think that if that's not what you're interested in, you're more interested in like, well, how can I like work with kids so that they get interested in STEM? Or how can I, go volunteer at, we have a place called Distance House nearby where you're cooking meals with people who were previously inmates, and it's like helping them readjust. And these individual experiences can completely change your perspective, and that's going to really benefit your future.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Lauren. So Anna, this next one is for you because you kind of got cut off talking about this before. Why don't you talk to us about Tectrin, what it is, kind of how you established it, and just what you got going for it.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure where I got cut off previously, but Tectrin, Technology for Children, is the full name. It's a nonprofit that I founded after a core travel course to this tiny island in Africa off the coast of Tanzania called Zanzibar. The core travel course, which I highly recommend, like Champlain's very globally focused in general. So if you're not going to study abroad, I recommend taking a travel course because they're really amazing. You see a lot of cool stuff and you get to have some heartful experiences like talking with a bunch of primary school students. But so anyways, after our conversation with the students where they told us about their dreams and aspirations, and we learned that they were learning their ITS stuff out of textbooks without any technology. I came back to Champlain College along with my two other co-founders, Jackie and Abby, and we decided that we were uniquely positioned to do something to help those students. So we spent about a year gathering monetary donations and tech donations. And this past winter break, I actually went back on another core travel course to Zanzibar, and I brought along with me 45 tablets and 3 solar panels. And I got to spend a day teaching the children just the basics of how to use the tablets. And it was so amazing seeing their faces light up as they became more familiar with the technology and saw that it wasn't this hard, scary thing to learn. And I really don't think that if I had been at a different college, I would have had the same experience. I probably never would have gone to Zanzibar. And even if I had, I probably wouldn't have felt the, like I had the ability to actually make a difference. Champlain has really empowered me to see things in a different light. And this is one of those situations where I think Champlain students and Champlain as an institution really thrives with its service opportunities.
Thank you so much, Anna. That was great. So now I'm going to turn it back to Lauren, and Lauren's going to tell us a little bit about the EcoRep position.
That's a good one. So EcoReps was my first position here on campus. You can get that right in your first year. They begin hiring in the fall semester, so keep an eye out. There will be a career fair. You will get an email about it. And EcoReps are always hiring for people who are interested in social justice, environmental justice, environmental rights. If you like really anything involved with the environment, which thankfully is a very big category, there's something for you. So there's fair trade here on campus, where if you don't know what that is, it's where you're buying products that support the fair pay of the workers who helped create those products or grow those products. So you might see this with coffee or bananas. We have bananas here on campus and coffee, which is very exciting. We were super excited to get that. And it's something that allows you from the get-go to meet people in your dorms and help create positive change in habits towards more sustainable things. And some of you might have noticed during a Minute Students Day or some of the events, if you've come to visit campus, we're also usually there helping sort trash, which is like always a fun piece. Which actually is a fun piece because you always get to surprise people because we actually compost a lot, and you'll notice that in Vermont overall that they really encourage recycling trash and compost. So there's a lot to be learned that's like really interesting and like stuff you might not have thought of from your hometown state. Like I know I'm from New York, I'm not that far over, but we never compost, and I was really excited to see that pop up. And it's another one of those things that, you know, in some of your classes you'll talk about this global perspective, and you'll talk about how do we have like corporate social responsibility in the businesses we're engaged with. And one of the biggest pieces is the environment, because it's something we all live in and all share. So doing our little piece to help take care of it or help respect it can be a really excellent way to kind of start off your education and college career. Plus it's a paid position on campus, so that's always helpful when you get to be paid for something you care about.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Lauren. So Hannah, I'm going to direct this next question towards you, but panelists, be aware, all of you are going to answer this one. So Hannah, I was just wondering, have you found it difficult to balance your service activities with your schoolwork? And what have you done to kind of make sure you get everything done and there's no crossover?
Yeah, so I guess right now, going into my being second semester senior year, just balancing everything in general has been a little difficult, but I think just being able to prioritize and to know that I'm doing this for a certain reason, and I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it and I want to, and it's something that I really enjoy, has really helped me to stay focused on what I'm doing, and just to keep organized and to know my priorities and to know when I need to make time for certain things compared to when I really shouldn't be doing other things. And so, I don't know, I just keep organized. I have a super detailed planner with like everything color coordinated, all of that kind of stuff to really help me stay focused on what I need to do and why I'm doing it, which is super important.
All right. Thanks, Hannah. So Anna, I'm going to throw that question to you next. So basically, what have you done to balance your student leadership and service activities with your classwork? And are there any obstacles you had to overcome in doing so?
Yeah, I think time management in general is huge, especially in college. So if you haven't learned it yet, expect to learn it when you're in college. And there are definitely people here to help you if you feel like you're struggling with time management. So that's a big one right off the top, just everything time management. And I basically live by my Google Calendar. So I've scheduled in like, okay, I'm going to be eating during this time, or I'm going to be working on this specific assignment, which is like very specific, but it really helps me personally. So for my TechTurn organization, I meet with other people to help work on stuff. Probably work on that about 3 hours every week. We have 2 meetings, and then I spend outside time on it as well. And then for my other leadership and service positions, those are just built into my schedule. And sometimes it gets difficult to balance things, especially when the course load gets real rough, like during midterms or finals time. But if it's something you're passionate about, you can make time for it alongside your normal coursework. So I guess the only obstacle I've had to deal with is my own issues with time management, which I'm still working on. It's going to be a forever process, I think.
Thanks so much, Anna. We're all procrastinators here. We're with you. Lauren, I'm going to throw it over to you now. So basically just talk about how you've kind of managed your leadership and service positions with your schoolwork and any obstacles you've had to overcome in doing so.
Right. So my time management skills when I got here were like I've grown so far. Like as Anna mentioned, like my Google Calendar has saved my life. And same with Hannah, like I have a planner, a Google Calendar, a whiteboard calendar. We've really stepped up our game. And thankfully, second year I stopped by like the academic coaching and I asked for help with like, you know, this is something that I know is going to be important. So it kind of forced me to like really get on top of that a little better. For me, what's great is that my volunteer work is in the mornings. And we also, as I mentioned this earlier, didn't go into detail, so I apologize for that. The RA position just recently changed where I used to be on duty every other night until 12 o'clock a.m. And unless it was like a Friday or Saturday where we're up until 1. So I was trying to avoid being up until like 1 o'clock and then waking up at 7 to go and do something, or I might stay up later doing homework. And thankfully it's changed recently where now we're partnered with a sibling building and we get to, like I'm on 2 nights this week on duty, which has made the job a lot more manageable because you're now giving back your evening time to get some of that work done. Or right now I'm in the process, I'm a senior here at Champlain, I don't know if I mentioned that. And I'm in the process of my capstone and it's giving me a lot of time to kind of go over my project and put a lot more focus in that. I'm also applying to grad school, so that's a big time management. Everything's coming due. So it's something that it's okay if you're not the best at it right now. I would say don't let that discourage you from missing out on these opportunities because I mean, I was the type of person in high school who would do the assignments and then not hand it in. And like, I just had them. Like I just would forget, or it'd be like the morning of and I'm writing a 4-page paper. Sometimes that still happens. It doesn't go away completely, but you get better at handling it. And I think that if you find something that you care about, and hopefully you've come to Champlain because there's something that you're really interested in and something that you're passionate about and you want to go into in the future, that can be a really good motivator for you. And that could be a good energy source to balance things. So, you know, volunteering, like it's kind of a break from schoolwork for me. And it helps me then get that energy back so that I can put it back into my future and my career and my plans. So yeah, I think that's, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lauren. So Hannah, I'm going to start with you. We're going to do another group question. So Hannah, I'm going to ask you, do you want to continue to have kind of a service position or perform some service activities in the future? And how has your experiences at Champlain prepared you to do so?
So yeah, definitely, especially with the Malaika House and this organization in general. My family always keeps joking that I'm not going to come back from this next trip. They're like, you're just going to stay there forever because you love it so much. So it's definitely had such a huge impact on me that it's not something that's ever going to change, and it's not going to leave who I am once I leave Champlain. Like I will always continue to volunteer and to be part of the community and serve the community in some sort of way. Yeah, and I think that Champlain has really prepared me for that because of all of the opportunities that I've had between travel courses and studying abroad and service trips and different internships that I've gotten, that they've all really prepared me for working with different groups of people and being able to connect to people, is whoever they may be, wherever in the world that they are, which has been really, really helpful.
Thanks, Anna. That was wonderful. So Anna, we're going to turn it to you next. So do you want to continue having a leadership or service position after you graduate from Champlain? And how have your Champlain experiences prepared you to do so?
Yeah, I definitely plan on continuing this kind of stuff. I was doing service volunteering in high school. So coming to college, I guess I took it a step further by actually creating a nonprofit. And I'm definitely going to stay involved in my nonprofit. And I was actually talking about maybe volunteering at the same Humane Society that Lauren is. It's just something that I'm personally really passionate about. So I don't plan on stopping once I graduate. Champlain specifically has, I guess, set me up for this because it's helped with like having a small school where you can really connect with people and talk with them about stuff like this is really important to me, because like there were 19 people on that travel course I took to Zanzibar. And because all of us got to know each other so well, like 3 of us sat down and had a very serious conversation about starting a nonprofit, and it went through. And it's the same thing. Like I was just talking with Lauren previously about how, oh, I love working with animals. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do at the Humane Society? So I feel like Champlain just has a really strong sense of community where you can have those kind of conversations with other people. Aside from the fact that since I've come here, my confidence has gotten so much better, and I would have never been in any of these positions probably if I was still the shy, timid first year that I came in as.
Thanks, Anna. And finally, Lauren. So do you want to continue having a leadership or service position in the future, and how is Champlain prepared for that?
I feel like I couldn't help but do it even if I tried at this point. Like I feel like it's so, I really want to help people. I want to help other people with specifically like mental health. So I'll be actually going to grad school for psychology. So don't worry if you join a major and you love it and then your path goes different ways, that's fine. And I want to do well by animals. And just like everyone. So I think it'd be very difficult for me not to have a service aspect. I think I would miss it in my life. I would feel kind of, I don't know if I'd say sadder is the correct word, but it would feel like something's missing. And I think it brings so much value to my life and so much like brightness that I would hate to lose that. Leadership wise, I've worked so hard over the years to develop these leadership skills, and if anyone's in the business school, like you're going to learn your leadership style about 5 or 6 times over. I've taken every leadership test you have available, really, and it's hard when you've been doing that to suddenly stop seeing yourself that way, or like stop appreciating those really great pieces of yourself. And those are things I want to develop. Those are things I want to improve. So moving forward, I'm going to be working towards that. So of course it's going to come up. And Champlain's really done right by me for developing those feelings and developing those skills. I've always had a sort of leadership sense, even since in high school, I was a peer mentor for other students. I was in clubs. I was a leader of a club in high school. So these are all things that have been there for me, but I've just kind of continued to nurture throughout my school career. And I don't know if that's something I would have gotten elsewhere the way I have here, where it's constantly, our saying is like, it's constantly daring you to do better. And particularly in the business school, it's daring you to do better and not be afraid of failure. Again, like don't let that discourage you, let it empower you, let it be an opportunity for growth. Don't lose a piece of yourself or an opportunity just because you messed up one thing. That's okay. So thank you, Lauren. Thank you. So Anna, my next question is going to be towards you. So I was wondering if you could just tell me what it's like to be a club head, like for Women in Technology, how you fell into that role, the process, and kind of what you do.
Yeah, so as I kind of said before, the club head position wasn't one that I saw myself doing originally. It was one that I was like, hey, I have some good ideas about how this club can be ran. I really love this club. I'm passionate about what we stand for. I love coming to the meetings and talking with all of our members. So when I applied, I'm actually a co-president. Because the previous president was going abroad for a semester, and she was like, hey, let's do a co-president so that we don't, so that there's no competition, I guess, kind of between us, and she could still be president when she came back from being abroad. So I mostly did it because she asked me to do it, and I've really loved it. It is a bit more work than just being a normal member of a club because you have to plan events and such, but since it's something I'm very passionate about, it's kind of seemed easy in a way. Like right now we're planning a Jeopardy night where we're going to be doing, we're going to have a category on women in the tech field. We're going to have categories on different majors in our ITS and game divisions. And it's been kind of a lot of work, but it's fun because I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. In general, Champlain College makes clubs really easy. You can form a club with just 10 members, I believe, and a faculty sponsor. And because it's such a small campus, a lot of people tend to get involved with the different clubs, especially because most people come to Champlain because they're super passionate about something. So I know all of the tech clubs have a steady high attendance because everyone in their major loves what they do in their major. And so anything outside of that, like a club where it's a bit more, you're still learning stuff at the club, but it's a bit more of a social side to things. Like, people love that. I loved it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Anna. So for those of you watching, we're going to move on to our final question. Final list of questions. So if you have any other questions you'd like to ask before we end this, make sure you send them within the next couple of minutes. So Hannah, I'm going to throw our final question to you first and then the other panelists. So what advice can you give students who are interested in student leadership or service?
I'd say go for it. Be confident in your abilities. So for me, I applied to be an orientation leader my sophomore year, and I really didn't think that I was as capable as other people were, but I decided to apply for it anyway just to see what would happen. And then I ended up getting the role, and I've been an orientation leader for 3 years. I got to be a team captain this past year. And it really just shows how much these roles can impact you and make you and help you to grow. Just being able to be confident in yourself and knowing what you are capable of, even not knowing what you're capable of is super important too, because it's always important to be able to challenge yourself through these roles, and to be able to help you to grow and to learn more and to connect with others, and just to help. Yeah.
Thanks, Hannah. So Anna, I'm going to move that question to you next. So what advice can you give students who are interested in student leadership or service?
I say go for it, even if you're maybe not quite sure it's going to be a good fit or you're nervous about not getting it. It's kind of like that motivational quote that's like, you miss all the shots you don't take. Like, go for it, try it. You might find that 1, you really enjoy it, and 2, you might be good at it. Plus, it's great to build those skills. It's going to be really important later on in life. And if it's something you're passionate about, then all the better.
Thanks, Anna. So Lauren, our last panelist and final answer to the question for the evening. What advice can you give students who are interested in student leadership or service?
So Champlain has so many opportunities for student leadership that I think that if one doesn't, fit you, there's something else you could try. It's certainly not something that's limited to one kind of leader, and I can guarantee you have leadership skills that you may be accessing all the time, and other times you're not using. You're like, I'm not really a leader. I don't really want to deal with that, which is fine. But don't lose out those opportunities and give up on yourself before you even give it a shot, because there's so many opportunities, and you're going to be here for 4 years. Like, if you don't like it in the first semester, you can quit. You are allowed that decision. But I think that you're going to find something you might really love, or something that you won't regret, or something that you're going to look back on and be like, this was an incredible experience for me. This is something I'm referencing when I'm doing my career interviews. So it's just really, there's so many benefits that it would, I think, be a poor decision to miss out on just because of something like, am I a leader? Or, maybe I don't want to be a resident assistant on all the time. That's okay. There's a lot of options, and take one of them.
Okay, awesome. So that's all that we have for tonight. I want to take a second and thank our wonderful panelists, Lauren, Anna, and Hannah, who are nice enough to donate their time tonight and answer our questions and just kind of give us some really great information that I know I definitely learned some stuff from. Definitely going to start using Google Calendar more. And I also want to thank all of you for watching. As you can see, Champlain is a school where everyone is really passionate, and leadership and service is a specific point in that. It's definitely one of those things where you can't do it unless you're passionate, and Champlain is kind of the embodiment of that. We're all just a bunch of nerds that love exactly what we're doing. So I'm going to turn it over to Leah now, who's going to give you some extra information.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nancy. Thank you, panelists. And again, thank you all the viewers out there who are watching on Facebook and on YouTube. We really appreciate it and hopefully got some good info there. If some of you watch this later on and you have questions still, feel free to ask us, reach out via email, text, or phone. Next week, there's going to be a live stream on Tuesday, April 2nd at 7 p.m. And that event is called I'm Admitted, Now What? So if you're wondering what to expect for Admitted Students Day or orientation, what to even pack when you get to school, what the residence halls are going to look like, this is the perfect opportunity to have all of your questions answered by students who are currently doing these things, living on campus, and what they're doing, again, as student leaders on campus. So we are really excited to have you back next week for I'm Admitted, Now What? So you may have even seen some of the student speakers here today or the ones you're going to see next week at our Admitted Students Day. That next Admitted Students Day is going to be happening on Saturday, April 13th, and there is also an event on Friday night, the 12th. So be sure to stop in Burlington for those. If you want to start those conversations a little bit earlier, be sure to join our Class of 2023 Facebook group and meet some of your future classmates there. So as for right now, thank you everyone and have a great evening. Bye-bye.